Yeah, so for India, it's 27%, and Sri Lanka, it's 44%, that's what they say. That would cost a small American business like mine about $500,000 a year.
She was 23, broke, and everyone kept asking why she'd throw away a good job to sell something as boring as turmeric. Sana Javeri Kadri was standing in a San Francisco grocery store in 2016, staring at rows of spice jars. The turmeric inside looked dull and lifeless. This wasn't the turmeric she grew up with in Mumbai. At just 23, she quit her stable marketing job and decided to change the entire spice industry. In summer 2017, Sana landed in India with a backpack and a mission. She spent 7 months traveling across farmlands in brutal heat, meeting farmers and learning how the spice business worked. What she discovered shocked her. The spice industry is a $5 billion business that hasn't changed in 500 years. Since colonial times, the system pays farmers as little as possible, while big companies take most of the money. Farmers growing the world's best spices were trapped in debt, barely surviving. But her biggest problem wasn't understanding the industry, it was getting anyone to take her seriously. She was 23 but looked even younger. When she met with farmers and suppliers, they treated her like a kid. She started lying, saying she was 30. That still wasn't enough. India's agricultural world wasn't used to dealing with young single women, so she made up a husband. She hated lying, but it was the only way to have real business conversations. Being a queer woman made everything harder. She had recently come out to her family, and those conversations had been traumatic. Coming out felt like being erased from her own culture. Now she was trying to build a business celebrating that same culture while feeling like she didn't fully belong. Then there was the money problem. Starting an import-export business isn't cheap. You need money for inventory, shipping, storage, and navigating complicated trade laws. Sana started with $8,000 borrowed from her father and 2 months' rent from her mother. That was it. She knew college friends who raised millions from investors. But those doors weren't open to her. She was an immigrant, a woman, a person of color, and queer. Women-led companies get only 2% of venture capital funding. For someone with her background, even less. So she did everything herself. She taught herself web design and built the website. She figured out import laws by reading endless documents. She took all product photos using teenage photography skills. She handled packaging, shipping, customer emails, social media, and accounting. Every single job. When the business grew faster than expected, new problems appeared. She needed larger spice quantities but had no cash. She lived on almost nothing, no health insurance for years. Every furniture piece in her Oakland apartment was free throwaways. She and her partner cooked every meal to save money. Her only expense besides rent was therapy to handle the stress. Sometimes she put therapy on credit cards. Finding the right farmers was another challenge. Sana wanted people who cared about quality, used sustainable methods, grew heirloom varieties, and shared her values. These farmers were rare. When she met Prabhu Kasaraneni, a young farmer growing incredible turmeric using regenerative agriculture, his first words were a test. If she didn't care about quality and soil health, they couldn't work together. Perfect for Sana, but it meant she couldn't scale quickly. The biggest question people asked, why would anyone pay more for spices? Cheap spices were everywhere. Investors thought her idea was strange. Why pay farmers 6 times the normal price when you could pay less and profit more? Her entire business model went against industry standards. Sana was building something that never existed, a spice company that paid farmers fairly, that valued quality over quantity, that told growers stories instead of treating them as invisible. And she was doing it with almost no money, no connections, and no blueprint. In August 2017, Sana launched Diaspora Co with one product, Pragati turmeric, grown by Prabhu. The turmeric was completely different from American stores, bright, aromatic, flavorful. She charged more but paid Prabhu 6 times the commodity market rate. Something unexpected happened. People loved it. Within months, demand exploded. Food bloggers, chefs, and home cooks posted about her turmeric on Instagram. Popular voices like Chef Alison Roman recommended her spices. People who never thought about their spice cabinet suddenly cared where their turmeric came from. What made Diaspora different wasn't just better taste, it was the story. Every jar included information about the farmer, region, and production methods. Sana connected American consumers to Indian farmers and their generational knowledge. The company grew 300% yearly in early years. By 2020, Diaspora worked with nearly 200 farms across India and Sri Lanka. Today, the company sources 30 single-origin spices from over 150 farms while paying farmers 6 times the commodity price. In 2021, Forbes named Sana to their 30 under 30 list at just 27 years old. She built a nationally recognized brand without outside investment for 5 years. When she finally raised funding in 2022, she secured over $2 million from mission-aligned investors. But money and recognition weren't the real success. Sana created the Farm Worker Fund, supporting healthcare, education, and nutrition projects. The company raised and donated over $500,000 for COVID relief, abortion access, and fighting anti-Asian violence. 20% of the company is set aside for farmers to share in future success. Today, 75% of sales come directly from online customers, the rest from stores, cafes, and restaurants. The company employs 15 people. Sana is writing a cookbook with a major publisher. She started a cooking community for sharing recipes. She makes harvest videos, showing the work behind every jar. She changed how Americans think about spices, from boring pantry staples to products with stories, faces, and flavors worth attention. She proved businesses can profit while paying fairly and protecting the environment. She showed young women, especially queer women of color, can build companies in industries not designed for them. Most importantly, she built the spice trade that should have existed all along, where farmers are partners, not exploited laborers, where quality matters more than cheap prices, where culture is celebrated, not stolen, where doing right and running successful business aren't opposites. Sana's story shows what happens when you refuse to accept how things have always been. She faced every barrier: discrimination, financial struggles, systemic inequality, resistant industry. She turned challenges into strengths. If this inspired you, subscribe for more entrepreneurs changing the world their way.